the Duchess of Darkness. She wears the night like velvet skin, a crown of quiet pulled in thin, threads of shadow stitched with grace. No dawn has ever touched her face. They call her Duchess, hushed and low, where whispered secrets drift and go. In corridors the light won't claim. She answers not to mortal name. Her kingdom breathes in dim-lit walls, where silence leans on ancient walls, and every flicker, every shade, bows to the throne that darkness made. No mirror dares to hold her gaze, no clock can count her endless days. She walks where fear and wonder meet, and leaves no echo of her feet. Yet in her wake a strange calm grows, a stillness only midnight knows. For though she reigns where terrors start, she guards the fragile, hidden heart. And from the depths where shadows part, a voice rises, steady and stark. No myth, no whisper, no disguise. I am the Duchess of Darkness. Unburdened. I used to carry hearts like glass, cradled every crack and shatter, held my breath so others breathed, like I was air, like I didn't matter. I stitched their wounds with trembling hands, while mine bled quiet through the seams, whispered strength into their storms, and drowned within my silent screams. I bent, I broke, I burned for love, for peace that never came to me. They took my light like it was owed, left shadows where my soul should be. But something in me snapped, not loud, more like a thread pulled far too tight. And in that quiet, I found truth. I don't owe anyone my fight. I'm done with guilt and borrowed pain, done tending gardens not my own. I've packed my care, my sleepless nights, and left their thorns where they were sown. This heart still beats, but not for all. This mind still bends, but now it bends for me. If that makes me cold, then let it frost. At last, I've set myself free. So no, I won't reach out this time. Not when my soul's the one that's torn. I choose my peace, my breath, my climb. I'm tired, and I don't care anymore. Here are a couple of poems that were written when I left Las Vegas, where I was born and raised. The city hums a neon even at dawn, like it never learned how to sleep, and maybe neither did I. I was born beneath flickering signs, cradled by the low thunder of traffic, and the promise of something always about to happen. Here, night wasn't an ending. It was a beginning that looped forever. I learned to count by chips, not numbers. Learned that luck had a pulse. And sometimes it sounds like your own heartbeat when you're hoping things turn out different. Every street corner knows me, or at least it feels that way. The cracked sidewalks, the heat rising in waves off asphalt, the strangers who never quite stay strangers, because everyone here is passing through something. But I stayed. Through summers that burned like confession, through winters that barely whispered, through years stacked like hotel floors, on top of one another. Hard to tell apart unless you look down. And now I'm leaving. Not in a blaze of glory, not with winnings tucked into my pocket, but with something quieter, a kind of knowing that staying would mean becoming part of the noise instead of hearing my own voice. The skyline shrinks in the rear view, all that glitter folding into distance, and for the first time, the silence feels loud. I thought I'd feel free, but mostly I feel untethered, like a light that's been unplugged and doesn't know where to shine. Still, I drive, because even a city that never sleeps can't hold you forever, and even a life built in neon deserves to see what morning looks like somewhere else. I was raised where the lights don't blink, where night is louder than day, and silence feels like something broken. My first memories glow neon, not stars, but signs, buzzing promises nailed into the dark. I learned early that everything shines here, even the things that shouldn't. I knew every shortcut through the city, every back road behind the glitter, where the real lives hid, in tired kitchens, in second jobs, in the quiet moments between shifts, when the world finally exhaled. And still, I stayed. Because when you're born in a place like this, it doesn't just raise you, it wraps itself around your thinking, teaches you that bigger is better, louder is living, and leaving is losing. But somewhere along the way, I started craving something softer, a sky that doesn't compete for attention, a night that actually rests, a morning that arrives gently, without flashing, without asking for anything. I want to hear my own footsteps again, not swallowed by crowds. I want to know my neighbors' names, not just their faces passing by. I want time to stretch, not spin. So I'm leaving, not because I hate this place, but because I've loved it long enough. I know it's not where I end. I'll miss the glow, the constant hum, the feeling that something could happen at any second. But I won't miss the noise inside me that never quite settled. Out there, wherever I land, I imagine a porch, maybe, or a road that doesn't rush you forward. I imagine breathing without feeling like I'm late for something. The city fades behind me, still shining, still awake, still calling in that familiar voice. And for the first time, I don't turn back. Because I'm not chasing anything anymore. I'm choosing less, and somehow it feels like more. Spirits of the Dead by Edgar Allan Poe. Thy soul shall find itself alone, mid dark thoughts of the gray tombstone, not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Be silent in that solitude, which is not loneliness, for then the spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again, in death around thee, and their will shall then overshadow thee. Be still, for the night, though clear, shall frown, and the stars shall look not down from their high thrones in the heaven, with light like hope to mortals given. but their red orbs without beam to thy weariness shall seem as a burning and a fever which would cling to thee forever. Now our thoughts thou shalt not banish, now our visions ne'er to vanish. From thy spirit shall they pass, no more, like dewdrop from the grass. The breeze, the breath of God, is still, and the mist upon the hill, shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token. How it hangs upon the trees, a mystery of mysteries. Cloaked by the grave shifter. Although it has been at least a century, maybe two, word finally spread through all the towns and villages of what not to do. Never ever, the townfolk would say, don one of the Duchess's hooded cloaks, if you are wise, for it will bring about your untimely demise. I must admit, even though it was always against my will, there were those who tried anyway, just to seek a thrill. There was Old Man Johnson, who was crushed by the ivy-covered vines that are a security measure. His eyes popped out so far that they still have not been found. Oh my, won't that be a treasure? Also, the Smithley boy, only 10, I believe, was chased. It landed upon him, but upon removal, he was gone, simply erased. There were others, to be sure, but each time the authorities questioned me about these individuals and how they croaked, I simply smiled and replied, I cannot be for sure, but I will tell you this. For those who do not believe and are unwise, they just may have been cloaked. A Dark Poem by Lost TAF. Standing alone in the dark, my feet shiver as if I see my semi-blooded heart, pulsing softly in shadows that creep and lark. I couldn't run, couldn't escape. I felt trapped in the graveyard's art of death. By my own grave, I sit and weep, swallowing sorrow, drowning in despair. The pain of losing myself, a burden I can't borrow. Bound by memories, a weight I cannot bear. Yet in the darkness, shadows flicker, whisper my name. It is none other than my own ghost, injecting fear into my veins like a raging flame. Imagine seeing yourself as a ghost, roaming and raging through your own pain, a haunting host. The Flame by the Prowler. I know I've loved you for 1,000 lifetimes, for you're burned into my memory, so I know who to find each time. My eternal flame that burns long into the night is a beacon that brings us into each other's arms again and again, that never extinguishes, no matter the storms and the pain that life may bring. However, if that flame should ever burn out, you must do everything in your power to light it again, no matter the cost, no matter the obstacles that try to prevent you from keeping that flame strong. For once you have found a love worth living for, you also must be willing to die for as well. Protect it from the cold that this world may bring. Light its shadows with the warmth of the flame. And if you lose your love, do not fear. You will not be fooled by the love of a stranger. For the flame burned your love's essence into your memory, into your soul. So no matter the lifetime, no matter how long it takes, you shall find them again. Children of the Night by the Prowler. When the autumn moon is high, and the air is crisp, and the breeze that stirs up across the darkened sky chills the very blood that courses throughout my being, is the time I hear it calling me. It transforms my senses, my thoughts and actions. I am completely consumed by its call. Its temptation takes a locking hold of my body and completely takes control. I am no longer myself, for I am a slave to its demands. I fall to my knees as it rages through my body, staring up at the full autumn moon. Pain courses through each vein like unimaginable torture. My muscles contract and widen. I can feel my skin rip apart as the light from the moon pierces the pupils of my eyes, turning my irises from a light hazel to a darkened red. My body begins to violently contort as my muscles and bones elongate and become larger and wider. I moan out, "Why, God?" as I agonize in pain from the violent change overtaking my body, and as I feel my skin being replaced with coarse patches of fur, I hear others like me calling out. Their howls sharply cutting through the hollow winds that move through the deadened branches of the trees. I slowly become entranced in the high-pitched, melancholic tones echoing through the midnight ether, when suddenly I notice I'm without a voice. My transformation is complete. I sound like the others, the children of the night. What sweet music we make. The Violin by the Prowler. Close your eyes, my dear, and listen. Listen to the beauty of the violin, the beautiful notes that emanate as the bow glides across the strings, sending you into a peaceful trance. The beauty of the music can only be matched by the beautiful blade I hold in my hand. Notice the pearl handle, the pure steel blade that shines brightly as the light hits it. Such beautiful partners to accompany me on an endeavor such as this. The deep strokes of the bow that release those melancholic notes, followed by the stroke of my blade across your skin, is quite enjoyable, isn't it? To be honest, it sets my blood afire. My sensories are engulfed with excitement, my dear. The blood that drips from your open cuts feel like a warm bath as it falls on my skin. Please quiet down, my dear. You cannot hear the beautiful notes being played with all the moaning and whimpering you're doing. Cutting you open should be peaceful. Sit back and enjoy it. Let the music, the pain, and the blood wash over you, sending you into a peaceful state. But before it's too late, I have a question for you, my dear. Was it as good for you as it was for me? The Hooded Man by the Prowler. The black mass that chants my name, the prayers you speak to ease your pain. I am eternal, the son of the morning. I come from the dark and arrive without warning. I'll grant your request for whatever you like. Do you seek love or a much better life? Well, it doesn't come cheaply. It's your soul that's the price. If you agree to my demands, then sign your name on the line. But understand, when you expire, your soul will be eternally mine. I am the collector who has spanned across time, with a legion of disciples who do my bidding without reason or rhyme. So call out my name, I'll grant you pleasures or ease your pain. Just remember the cost, an eternity of burning within my flame. An ode to the Hooded Man. A black mass of loyal followers of the dark arts has gathered within the catacombs of France, beneath its oldest church, a perfect place to conjure, for no one would suspect a satanic group as this to carry out their business so close to a church, right under their noses, if you will. This particular coterie has gathered to conjure the Hooded Man, a fabled disciple of Beelzebub. He is the bringer of dreams and desires, but also pain. Accounts of his sightings have been told and documented through the centuries, but only at the most unfortunate events of life's history. He was there as Nero played his violin as Rome burned. He walked the streets of Europe as the Black Death ravaged its people. He roamed the battlefields of America during its Civil War. Think of the worst atrocities in the history of man, and he was there to collect the souls of the lost and the damned. He's there during times of turmoil and anger, and he visits you when there's pain and loneliness. He's opportunistic of your sorrow and will feast on your wants and desires. All you have to do is say his name, and he'll appear, ushered in by the smell of dead roses. That's how you know the Hooded Man approaches. When he stands before you, you will not see his face. You will only hear the growl of his voice. There will be no need to tell him your name or desires, for he already knows. A contract will appear, and he will hand you an ink-tipped pen, the red ink believed to be blood, procured by 1,000 fallen saints. Then you will hear the only words he speaks to you.
Your desires for your soul.
He says menacingly as he points to a dotted line at the bottom of the contract. If you agree to the terms, you will receive everything you wished for, but the price is steep. For when you die, your soul will belong to him for all eternity, left to burn in the fiery depths. So choose wisely. Your eternal fate is in your hands. Is a few years of happiness worth the damnation of your soul? You best choose wisely, for all decisions are final, and the hooded man is unforgiving. Evil has a voice, written by the prowler. The darkest of nights, accompanied by the most tormented of dreams. What evil lurks through the inner walls of my mind's eye? I beg for whatever mercy is out there from the light of the warmest blessings, for I hear the screams that move through the ominous wind. Methodically, like a predator stalks its prey, it moves towards my tired person that seeks shelter from the evils that lurk for me in the night. Are they the moans from tortured spirits trying to pass along their pain from the burning catacombs of hell? If that be the case, then away from me, I say, for I have my own pains to endure. I haven't the time, reasons, or the fortitude to grapple with the plights of the damned. I now hear the whispers of the cursed. Sonnets of the dead being regaled to me by Lucifer's poet himself. The turning of each page from his dreadful manifesto echoing into the haunted night. Evil has a voice. I have learned this from this never-ending night. But can one ignore its message? Can one be tempted by its forbidden promises, yet walk past them with a stoic silence and find the safety of the light? Can I? Do I have the strength?
Nex adu immortalis, libri spondeo nex, adve hoc mort animadvertor, operor non timeo, zalus est proculamus.
I hope it rains. Written by the prowler. When I die, I want it to rain, so everyone knows of my relief that my journey in this life has finally come to an end. I hope the rain falls on the cheeks of the people and washes down their faces, so they can feel the sadness I went through and all feel the relief in my death. The cold in the water from the sadness becomes warm with the realization that there will be no more pain, no more death, no more betrayal, no more false promises of beautiful lies left unkept and unfulfilled. The once tortured soul has now been set free from a place it never belonged to in the first place, a place it did not ask to be, but still deserved more kindness from the ones who surrounded it. So if you should feel yourself start to cry, know it rained today, and I have died. The Path, written by the prowler. I found a path yesterday. It was in the woods, and not very wide. It was meant for two, with my love by my side. We walked down this path together, with her hand in mine. Its every twist and turn was like a travel through time. As we walked, we looked to the sky, and it opened up, like a book of memories of our life together to that point. It showed nothing but love and happiness, two individuals coming together as one and saving each other from a life of misery. Conversations of a future together until our dying breath, a commitment to stay together as one. A ring placed on her finger, and my name given, now attached to hers. Beautiful promises that have now been fulfilled, a family to grow old around. We knew we had lived a life worth living, one that did not originally seem destined until we found each other. We then came to a small hill at the end of the path, and on it sat two gravestones. On said stones, that sat side by side, was etched our names, followed by the words, across oceans of time and endless tomorrows, a love and life that is carried to death. A tear came to my eye as I realized that we kept our promise and lived out our lives together as one. Nothing was able to destroy it. I squeezed her hand, realizing there was now nothing left to fear. I found a path today, the same as yesterday, not very wide and meant for two, but no one was by my side. I looked down to a now emptied hand and walked down the path. I looked to the sky, and it opened up like a book of memories that showed a couple that saved each other, one that made beautiful promises that became unfulfilled. As I walked, I was shown images of things I thought impossible, tears of emptiness and sadness. There was now no ring on her finger, and she no longer wanted my name. Finally, I came to a small hill at the end of the path. On it sat a lone gravestone, and on said stone was etched my name, followed by, as he lived in life, he followed in death, forever alone. I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to the special friends of the channel for your overwhelming generosity. If you would like to support the channel, the link is below in the description. Also, please send me your stories and poems to Duchess of Darkness 27@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Duchess.of_Darkness and Twitter at Duchess of Dark N2. I want to thank all my listeners for your kindness, your encouragement, and your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.